3, 2, 1.
Glowing Up Latina, Season 3, Episode 5.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Glowing Up Latina.
Hello.
I'm Kristina.
And I'm Amanda.
Amanda, ask me what I'm wearing today.
Kristina, what are you wearing today?
I'm wearing my brand new Old Navy jumpsuit.
You are?
Yes. So you guys, I recently got a jumpsuit from Old Navy, like one of like a workout one. Obviously, I'm not working out right now. Don't tell anybody. But it is so mother flipping comfortable. I bought 2 more.
You did?
So the one I have on, I got for like $20 because it was like on super sale. But then they were having like a 15% off everything over the weekend. And I was like, I'm getting 2 more of these. So I did. And it is so comfortable. Like I want to live in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good material.
Mm-hmm. So super, super soft. And I've already washed it once and like nothing. Like it's fine.
I need to get me a few.
If you're looking for a jumpsuit, Old Navy. We're not sponsored, but we could be for the right price, which is literally any money at all.
Exactly.
So how are you doing tonight, Amanda?
I am doing well. A little tired. Had a busy week this week. I was covering for my coworker. They were on vacation. So yeah, Amanda was a busy bee this week. But the upside to that was that I got my yearly review at work and I did very well. Very happy. Yeah. How was your week, Kristina?
It was good. Very happy it's Friday. Very happy to be recording. I do always love recording. It's always a little glow on my week. Yeah, just been working, going to the gym. I got up so late this morning. I don't know what happened. I was supposed to get up at 5. And I guess I turned my alarm off in my sleep. Yeah. Because when I woke up, it was 6:50 and I was like, oh, can't go to the gym. I'm going to be late for work. And I wasn't even, like, I still got to work like 30 minutes early. But like, I like to like clock in 30 minutes early so I can leave early.
I mean, I feel that. But yeah, I know lately you've been out and about getting up early and, you know, doing your gym routine. So yes, very proud of you.
Thank you. I do prefer early morning gym time.
No, absolutely not.
No?
No. I'm very much a evening person. I like to work out after work. But that's because when I was younger and I would have I would go to karate, my classes were in the evening. Oh, so I've always been. What is up? There's no alcohol in these mocktails. I promise.
We do have mocktails.
I've always been accustomed to just working out in the evening.
That's so funny that you said that. Okay, so because when I was in high school, I was on the dance team, and we had 0 hour, which was like before first period, so before school was even open.
Okay,
we had to have practice, and then dance was my first period. So like. That was my morning, was practicing. But then I had like after school stuff that I did, but I guess like you get so much done when you start your day earlier. Mm-hmm. I also go to bed at like, if I have to get up at 5, then I go to bed at 10.
Yes.
So, yeah. And I also like to just do nothing in the evenings. So to work out in the evening is like taking time away from doing nothing.
I mean, I get that. I do. But yeah, I don't know. I can't get up early more than what I usually do.
Yeah, more than you already do. Yeah. Well, I also have a gym in my building, so.
Wish. Yeah.
Okay. As you have noticed, we are without Liana this episode. We had a little miscommunication about when we were recording, or where we were recording, I should say. Our first in the history of this show. So very proud of us for that. Mm-hmm. Took almost 60 episodes for that to happen. So woo. But so Liana was going to lead the episode for today. She has given us permission to use her topic, which we are very grateful for, because otherwise you would have got mine and Amanda's pop culture takes for this week. We would have done a
part 2 on pop. We would have done a part 2 on pop culture. Yeah.
And as you guys know, we're Well, I guess when this episode releases, we will be past Halloween.
Yes.
And it'll be November 1st. So we will be like at the tail end of Dia de los Muertos, right?
Yeah, kind of. I think today, I was told that tonight, the deceased, like passed away animals, like your pets, come to visit you tonight. And I was like, oh. But yeah, so today's the first day of that, and I think every day it represents like a certain passing. So from now up until about November 2nd, yeah. So we'll be at the tail end of Dia de los Muertos, yeah.
So in last year, we did an episode on grief, and we're doing an episode on grief again. Again, this episode was prepared by Liana, so the questions have a very different spin on them. But we will link the first episode that we did on grief because it also has like kind of a little history on what Dia de los Muertos is and all of that stuff, which is, I liked it. It was a good episode.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Okay. So, have you seen your parents express grief, and are you similar in the way that you express that grief?
Yeah. So, I think that's how I learned how to grieve. Like, I've seen how my parents grieve, and my mom in particular, she's very much a crier, and she'll show that she's sad. So therefore, whenever whenever I grieve, like I do the same thing, like I cry and I'm also sad. So I've seen my dad now recently express his feelings and show his grief, Yeah, it's rough. It's tough. But yeah. How about you?
I don't know if I've seen like my mom like outwardly express grief, like crying in that sense. I don't know if I've seen a lot of my family members, like, obviously, like, at funerals, I've seen them, like, cry or tear up. But, like, as far as, like, processing their grief, I don't know if I've really seen that too much. What I will say is, like, for my great-grandpa who passed away when I was young, like, and I guess it's considered, like, part of processing your grief. But, like, I feel like his memory is so, like, I was going to say so strong and alive, but like strongly alive. I don't know if that's the way to say it, but like I was like, what, 7 maybe in 2001. And I feel like I know so much about him. Like, obviously I don't know him in the way that I would if he was here, but
right.
People in my family like still talk about him almost as if he is here. And so, like, that's why I'm trying to say that, like, his memory is, like, so strong, like, so present.
Right.
And I feel like that's an aspect of, like, processing grief. Like, because I don't think there's, like, an end process to grief. Like, you're constantly grieving. You don't just, like, okay, I'm all healed from that thing that happened and we're all done with it.
Right. It's never right. I agree. I don't think there's you can never say there's a point where you're just, like, that's it, you're done thinking about this person who's passed away. It always, I think it lingers. And anything that like you come across that reminds you of that person, of course you're gonna think of them and what, happy or sad. But I can see what you're saying, that it's always a process. It's always going to be there. You're always thinking of this person. It's not easy, but also in a sense it is keeping the person's, I guess, spirit alive, like in your own way, keeping them alive. But yeah, I can see that.
And I think my family is like really good about that and like keeping them alive. It kind of goes into the next question that we have is like, what are the traditions you and your family do to honor your loved ones? Because I don't necessarily know that my family has like a strict thing that we do because like these people are talked about so like openly, and like there's no, I don't know, I guess like
not like a fixed date or like a fixed
I think when I was younger, it's like one of those things like you don't want to like bring it up because it's like fresh and everybody's like still processing it.
Yeah.
And now like we're so far removed that like it just I guess bringing it up doesn't sting as much.
Yeah.
Or if it does, nobody shows it.
Got it. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No. Like, I don't want to say it's easier to talk about, but I guess, like, they're more comfortable to bring it up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it doesn't sting as much as it used to. Like, right now, well, some of the traditions, like my family, that I've noticed, even with Constantine's family, I think that was the beginnings of like going through someone like grieving, like me grieving, Constantine grieving. When his great grandfather passed away, it was hard for him because his great grandfather was just like, they were very close, and his great grandfather would like take him to school, drop him off, and make lunch for him. So when he would come back from school, so when that happened, it was very tough. But after that, like, his family made it a thing where on his birthday we would still celebrate his birthday. We still celebrate his birthday. We do a dinner on the day that he passed away. So they keep his memory alive. I know my mother-in-law, she always likes to get flowers and puts flowers in front of his picture. So, little things.
Mm.
I know with my family, we do a rosario. So when someone passes away, I think a lot of Mexican households, or a lot of Latino Christian Catholic households, they know that when someone passes away, you do a rosario where you get loved ones together and you do the rosary every day for like a week around the time of the person's passing, like as a memorial.
Mm-hmm.
And so my grandmother passed away over the summer, and after she passed away, we did a rosario for a week where my aunts and my uncles, we got together and we did the rosario every night. And then on the last day, we went to her plot at the cemetery, and we did like another big prayer, and it was nice. It is sad, but it's just a part of also like grieving, and I guess like just, I don't want to say come to peace with it, but just I guess it kind of just helps us as a family, go through the grieving process.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that's something that we do.
Well, I remember when you were telling me
Yeah.
about like doing the rosary, that there are people that actually like they're their jobs to do this. I didn't know that.
I did not. So yes. So when my grandmother passed away, with her passing, like I didn't realize there were a lot of things that like went into this rosario. When my maternal grandmother's father passed away, so my great grandfather, when he passed away, they did a rosario in Mexico because he was buried there. He lived there. And I thought that was just something that just they did there. And then when my paternal grandmother passed away over the summer, I didn't know that there were actually like people who get hired to like lead the rosario, lead the rosary. I didn't know that. Yeah. So during my grandmother's wake, there were a few people who came in to like lead the rosario. And I think my aunts had chose someone in particular to lead the ones at home, like where at my aunt's apartment. So yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. And I remember like one of those nights, I was walking into my grandmother's building, and me and the lady, I don't want to say the lady, but I don't know what they're called. Sorry, if you happen to know, anyone listening, if you happen to know, just let me know in the comments below. So the lady and I were going into the building, taking the elevator to my aunt's apartment. And she was telling my mom, she was like, yeah, I just got a call from someone who just passed away, so I need to go and meet up with that family. Like, it's like, I don't know if it's like word of mouth, but it gets around, and she's pretty busy, I guess.
Maybe like in church bulletins.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's
I
like
wonder
her
if
and
you
her
could Google
daughter.
it. Like if you could Google for those services.
No idea. Yeah, I guess it's yeah.
Yeah, I mean somebody's got to do it because I guess not everybody learns how to do the rosary.
I mean, what we learned it in when we were going to like Sunday
Catechism,
school.
yeah. But could you lead one?
No, I don't know. Do you, like, are you given like a license to do it? No, let me stop. No, I did not mean to say that in like.
She's sorry, God.
Yes. Well, you know what? That here's another thing. So she goes like, there's a book. There's a book where tells you like it shows you like the breakdown of how you should run the rosary specifically for a passing.
Oh, so maybe you do have to have some type of like education or something. Because
there's like posadas. There's like posadas for like navideñas. Like, do you know like posadas navideñas? They're like it's a book of prayers that you say on Christmas.
Oh yes, I do know that.
My grandmother does that. So she does that on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
At midnight or like 10 to midnight. She does that. She has her own little book and she reads the prayers off of that and we sing and we pray. Oh, hold on. Deceased? There's a word for it and I looked it up on this because I sent it to you. Remember? I don't know. Oh my God. I don't think it's called whatever. Point is there is a book. And she followed the book and then she would give us like she actually sent us pictures. My aunt took a picture of her book and was like, here, these are the songs we're singing today. And everybody, she led a group chat and we sang, we sang the song from our phones. But yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't, thankfully. I don't know. I don't think your table's wood, but
the
legs.
The legs are wood.
Haven't, had to deal with that yet. And I feel very fortunate in that aspect. But I have, had to grieve things, I guess, not necessarily people. Like here recently, especially, have had to like grieve the idea of like, like being home, being closer to everybody, I guess, if that makes sense, because, everybody's getting older and I am not, I guess I always imagined my life would be like, I'm going to be next to my family all the time. And we're going to like, I'm never going to miss out on anything because, I'm so close with my family and I love my family and I'm never going to be away from my family. But then you get older and like, I'm sure you didn't ever think you were going to live away from your mom.
Yeah. Not that far, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially like when I moved away from home in general, like, I don't like my brothers and I, like, we worked so well together. And it was a very big adjustment to have to like go to being on my own, even though it was something that I wanted to do and knew that it was something I wanted to do for myself. It was just, oh man, it was hard. I missed them so much. And for a very long time, way longer than I care to admit, I cried every single time they were dropping me off at the airport.
Yeah.
And it was just like...
But you know what, like in relation to like what we're talking about, like with grief, right? You always knew that was going to happen, right? You knew you were going to go away. You knew you were going to like go away for college and not be home. So it's like the same kind of, I don't want to say it's the same thing, but like we all know at some point we're going to come across death. Right. And it's you know the feelings that come with it. But when it happens, you don't know, like you don't realize how much of an impact it has on you. And like the roller coaster of emotions you go through when it happens to you. So it's crazy. Like you can't really prepare. You can tell yourself like, I know I'm gonna feel this way, but it's not until you actually experience it that you're just like, damn. It's happening. Like it's fine. Like it's here.
Yeah. And I feel like that's very true for like growing up as well. Like you're like, oh my God, I want to be an adult so bad. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, and it'll be so fun. It sucks. Like it was fun for a little bit, but now it sucks.
It was fun. Okay. Sorry. We're going off topic. It was fun at the beginning because, right, you can kind of like do what you want to do. And now
everything is so expensive.
Now it's expensive, whatever I want to do. So
anytime I want to do anything, it's money. But yeah, it's like I remember telling myself, like, one day I'll be an adult. One day I'll get to do like whatever I want.
Right.
One day I'll, whatever. And then it was like one day was here and I was like, oh, hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I lied. Because oh my God, if I could go back and like live in my mom's house again, like just to have everything like it was when I was a kid, like,
yeah.
Oh, that I would go back. We talked about how we would not go back to junior high or high school. I wouldn't. But if I could like live with my mom like it was when I was growing up again, I would do that in a heartbeat. Just to like, because you move away from your family, you guys, and it is just, it's never like, you don't realize that it's never going to be the same as like, I feel like I'm gonna start tearing up. You realize it's never going to be the same as it was like when you were kids.
Yeah.
And like, so yeah, this is a type of grief because look at me, here I am almost crying. But like, I am like so excited for like what my life is now and how far I've gotten. And I'm so grateful for everything that I've done. But like, to have one more night like with my brothers, just like all of us together again. Anything, I would give anything for that.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're all still here. Like, we're all going to go home for the holidays and like be near each other and like have that. But it's like not the same as when you were a kid. It's so different when you're an adult.
Yeah.
And then everybody, everybody gets partnered up or like and married. And
it is like when we say life is life and life is life. And like those are things that you go through in life that everyone is like trying to make it out here, basically, right? Like you said, like partnered up and doing, like everyone's doing their own thing. And I understand what you're saying, like wanting to get back or like just having that one moment where it's just what the four of you, just to have the four of you guys together. Well, just plan it out. Just tell your brothers. Leave your significant others. Don't involve them. Sorry, not that you're not liked. It's just that, hey,
it's just like everybody gets like you're living your life collectively as like, you know what I mean? Like you and your mom, y'all were living in this apartment. Y'all had the things that y'all did, and like that's how it was for us. And then you get older and you move away, and everybody's lives are like separate. Yeah, such a downer this episode. So sorry. Good. And I told my mom before this, I was like, I'm not gonna have anything to talk about. Like, I don't really know like what my experience with grief is. And she was like, no, there are things you could talk about. This was not one of the things she mentioned. So I'm just gonna make everybody cry today. I think Liana mentioned it in our forgiveness episode. It's like this is like the 5 stages of grief. What is it? It's like I know them. I don't know them in order. Like I definitely know anger is one of them.
Hold on.
I know denial is one.
Yeah.
Oh, bargaining. Acceptance.
You know them pretty well, ma'am. I don't know what
I'm missing one.
5 stages of anger? I mean,
grief.
Grief?
Anger.
Whoa. I don't know where I was from. Oh, grief. Okay. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression.
I forgot the most important one. So the most important one there is sadness. Okay, but goodness.
Wow.
But what are the parts of grief for you that like are the most surprising or like frustrating or like the most difficult to deal with?
So surprising would be like just I guess the initial news of receiving someone's news of like passing away, but also like surprising of like not realizing again, like we said, like the impact of their death on you, or maybe not even having an impact at all. Like you thought that you were going to feel a certain way, and when you find out, you're just like, oh, like that's sad, but like you don't find yourself like distraught or like walls, broken down. Like no, like I think that sometimes that can be surprising to someone or to yourself. Frustrating is like how you're able to cope with that passing. Like, why will I ever, like questioning yourself, will I ever get over this? Like, will I ever find like my life to go back to normal? Like, will I find a rhythm in my life. Like, just that can be frustrating.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're grieving and just having all of these questions of like, what if and why, like just playing 21 questions, you know, that can be frustrating.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like my whole thing a minute ago. Like, I've been homesick like the past couple of weeks. Like, I've missed home. I missed like being with my mom. And I go to get breakfast with my grandmother every Sunday, and I miss doing that. So I think it's just like, even after all this time, so 11 years I've lived here, and I have like done my life like, you know, on my own or whatever. I mean, obviously with their support, but like daily I'm up here, me, myself, and I, and still I get upset or like teary eyed when I think about it. And my goal is still to move back to Texas at some point. Like, because I just know that like I can't live, like I've lived this much of my life without them, and yeah, I've had fun, and it's been fun to like show them everything up here, but like I know that I need to be close to them. You know, like that whole thing, like when you push a baby bird out of the nest too early and then it just kind of like fall, it can't fly.
Yeah.
I don't think I got pushed out of the nest too early. I think I was fine, but I think like it was more of a shock for me than I realized. Like I had been wanting to move away, and then I did it, and I was like, oh, I did not want that. That was not what I wanted. I take it back. And then I did try to go back home, and my mom was like, give it, because I tried to leave after my first semester of college. And I was like, no, don't make me go back. I don't want to do that. I tried to leave before I even got here. Like, they drove me up here, and I cried the whole way. It's like a 24-hour drive, you guys. And I just cried the entire time.
Like, Kristina, stop. Stop it now.
And then my mom was like, stick it out the year, and like, if you want to come back, you come back.
Yeah.
And then I did stick it out the year. I obviously did not go back.
Because you actually liked it.
Yeah, it's hard. I think that's like a surprising thing about like grief is it's hard. Is like there is a part of me that is fully committed to being here and doing my life here. That's why I've been here for so long. Right. But then there's the other part of me that's like committed to my family and committed to like not committed, I guess, has the desire to like be close to them. And like, so obviously I plan to have kids at some point, but like I grew up with like going to my grandparents on the weekends or like calling my grandparents and hanging out with them whenever I wanted and having my mom close to me to like do stuff. And like, that's what I want for my kids. Right. And I'm not going to move all my family up to New York so that that can happen. Like, the solution to that problem is I move to Texas. Yeah. And so I'll be there at some point.
I mean, I tell my mother that all the time. Like, there's going to be a point where I'm like, okay, you got to come back. You gotta come back now. Nope. Can't be out there. Nope. No, it's not.
You've been out in the streets for too long.
Nope. You got to come back. Got to come back. And I'm sure she's just like, okay, sounds good. But, you know, this is her time right now to do her own thing and want to live her life. And I'm very happy for her. But I know it's so funny. When kids start to, you know, come into the picture, that's when I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to live with me for a couple of weeks now after.
It's so funny because you literally sounded like a mom talking about their daughter. Oh, this is her time to be out there to explore whatever she wants, but she's got to come back here at some point.
No, she got to come back to the nest. Yep, they always want to come back.
Yeah, grief is weird.
Yeah.
Because I did not expect to be emotional on this podcast today.
Oh, listen.
Here we are.
Maybe that was Liana's plan the entire time.
Right? Freaking Liana. Gosh.
So, Kristina, what are some things that you do to cope with grief or that you feel like you're doing currently, I guess, coping with anything?
I hop on a plane and go back home. I'm literally going home next weekend. I always make sure to go home on the holidays. Yeah. So I will be home for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I did not go home for Thanksgiving one year, and I will never do it again. I went to the Macy's Day Parade instead, and it was cool.
Well, yeah. All my life here, lived here in New York City, and my entire life have not gone once.
I saw Romeo Santos. It was...
Because usually
was it worth
cold.
it? No.
It's cold, and you got to get up early to get to that thing, and...
It was. I had Thomas out there. It was dark and cold, and I had Thomas out there waiting for me to watch Macy's Day Parade. He was a really good sport about it.
Go Thomas.
But then, yeah, the next year I went home.
Yeah,
so I go home now.
You're like, never again.
I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
And I talk to my mom every day. My mom and I talk all the time.
See, yeah. Some things that I do to cope with grief. Again, we're gonna go back to like, actually like with death and stuff. And I think it depends on like the person and my relationship with them. Like if it's direct family that's passed away, then I try to make sure that we continue. Like I stay with family. Like again, example is like when my grandmother passed away over the summer. I found myself like being with my cousins more and checking in with my cousins to see how they were feeling and how they were doing, how they were coping. Because each of us had a different relationship with my grandmother. So, I think it was important for us to still, regardless of the type of relationship that we had with her, it was important to still check in because we're all human, right? We all have feelings. And, I mean, that's what, I did at the moment. That's what we continue to do now to make sure that we continue to stay as a unit because, we realize that we enjoy each other's company. We do. That's what I think I had mentioned in one of the earlier episodes this season is that even though we're like in the early episodes, I think like in the second episode I mentioned that I'm hanging out with them more and like getting to like know our relationship again, and it's been going well. And again, I love my family. So if anything were to happen, like of course I'd be there for them, regardless of how how close or like I don't want to say that we're not distant, but like what's the word that I'm looking for? I don't know. I just want us to continue to stay close. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I wouldn't even like say it like that.
Well, I feel like it's also like your cousins that are your close in age, like you're close when you're young, you're together all the time. Right. And then again, you grow up and everybody has their own lives and it's hard to find that time to like be together like you used to.
Yeah. So that's what, I think that's where we're at now. And then me like with the Canelo fight, I had them over and it was nice because it made us like relive those memories that we had as kids where we would get together and our parents would get together to watch like boxing matches. So it was nice to have that. And, I guess like with friends, I would do the same thing too, because again, depending on my relationship with you, I consider you family. So I have to, I want to make sure that you're doing well. I want to check in with you and see how you're doing. So, I think that's how I would cope or how I do cope with grief. I do find myself actually, since my grandmother's passing, like going to church or listening to mass from home. It's put me in a different like place in terms of my faith. Mm-hmm. It's weird. I don't know if like her death like made me like redirected me into my faith again. Because I was doing like the rosarios, the rosary every night, and going to mass, and my family tries to make sure they do like a monthly mass in her memory. So like I'm finding myself go to church and listening to mass again, and then it's putting me also, it's kind of also another therapeutic way to get me through some things right now in my life that I'm like questioning. So I don't know if my grandmother, I don't know if her passing, like it, I don't know if, I don't want to say it was meant to happen. Like, I don't want to say that, but I'm trying to say is like, I guess her death, like, again, brought me closer to my faith.
Yeah. So. I think I get what you're trying to say. Yeah. I feel like it's It was a horrible thing to have had happen, and I'm
Mhm.
sure nobody in your family wanted it to
No.
happen, but the good that came out of it
Yeah.
is that, you know, you're closer to your faith. You and your cousins are like rebuilding y'all's relationship or
Mhm.
strengthening y'all's relationship. I think sometimes that happens with
Yeah.
deaths.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we're going to do this in a later episode where we talk about like end of life planning, because death can bring out,
Yeah.
unfortunately, very ugly sides to people. But also sometimes it brings really good things.
Yeah.
And I think, like, obviously I didn't know your grandmother, but I'm sure she's happy that you and your cousins are getting closer. And
That's what I like to think. Yeah.
yeah. And your relationship with God is being everything.
Yeah.
And your relationship is being strengthened by everything.
Yeah.
This is why you're not supposed to touch the mic when you're recording.
Stop fidgeting.
Amanda,
Mhm.
what is one of your favorite memories of a person in your life who has passed away?
While we're on the topic of my grandmother, so she actually used to walk me to school. My dad used to drop me off, and she and I would walk to school, and she would drop me off. But also just like holidays in her apartment, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. They were, I remember like going a couple of times to my grandmother's and like painting Easter eggs, going trick-or-treating. That was a big thing, taking us to the park. So those are like just those little things, like a compilation of all of that are just good memories. Because then, it was also shared with my cousins too.
I'm trying to think of what a favorite memory is. It was just like day-to-day stuff, I think. And I think I mentioned it on here one time before. Like, I used to have to get ready after my mom got done getting ready.
Right, yes.
And like
Yeah.
her straightener and like the perfume she would wear would like leave a scent in the bathroom, like that. And I don't know, just being like, one time my brother and I were watching TV and he is like very scared of bugs. And there was like this massive water bug that had come and he left me in my room. It's like the middle of the night. So I can't scream or like yell at him because everybody's asleep. And if I wake my parents up, they'll be pissed. He leaves me in my room with this big ass water bug for me to go,
what the hell?
Yes, go pick up by myself. Like, he just dips.
He's like, all right, Kristina, you're on your own. Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah. But, we made a lot of memories in our new house. Like, there for a little bit, we're playing Just Dance at the holidays with my younger cousins. And both my brothers were dancing to, I think it was Living La Vida Loca one time. That was pretty funny. Yeah.
Aww.
So it'll be fun going back home.
Yeah.
And seeing everybody.
Yeah. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you're going to go back home, see mom, see your brothers, enjoy some family time. So yeah, I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. Okay, you guys, before we close out this episode, we do have one announcement to make. So as you know, the last season we ended with a Q&A, and honestly, like, you guys submitting questions was so great. We had such a great time with that. So this season we were thinking of doing like almost like a little advice column. Like, if you guys submit things that you want advice on, and we are not licensed professionals, but we will do our very darndest to help you out. We'll create a link for that on our page, on our Instagram, that you can go to. And every week, some point during the week, we'll have a little box up where you can make submissions on things that you want to talk about with us at the end of the season.
Yeah.
That was the right way to word it, right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
And so you'll be able to submit those on Instagram via the question feature.
Yes, on our stories.
Yes, there we go. Or I'll create a Google form in the event that you want to submit anonymously. Of course, you can always submit to our website, glowinguplatina.com, or our email, glowinguplatina@gmail.com.
Yes.
Okay, Amanda, what is making you glow this week?
We are supposed to have beautiful weather tomorrow, and it's a Saturday. For any New Yorkers listening to this, you already know we've had like more than 10 Saturdays in a row of just pure rain. So I'm just happy that Saturday will not rain.
So excited. It's supposed to be so nice.
And it's Halloween weekend. So, it's nice to see everybody walking around with their costumes, going to their Halloween events. I unfortunately do not have a Halloween costume this year. I don't know. Wasn't very much into it. There's always next year. But happy for everyone else. It's celebrating.
I saw someone dressed as Sid from Toy Story on my way over here.
Get out.
Yeah. That was actually kind of cool.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is going to be really nice. I'm going to be in the park for a little bit tomorrow. Very excited about that. And then honestly, guys, I'm going to just hang out at my apartment because if you saw the unedited version of this episode, you would be like, yeah, Kristina, you need to rest. And what is making me glow this week? Being done with this episode, you guys. I don't know what it was. Liana, we missed you. Because this is what happened. I did all of them in a row, and then, we break it up, and I apparently don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what that's about.
We unleashed a lot of things.
Gonna have a long talk with myself later on. But yes, so I'm gonna do my best Liana impression. Ready? And on that note, if you're watching the YouTube, she does the hand every time, but I think her fingers are closer together. Liana, let me know.
No, she was on that note.
Just like that. Did I do it, Liana? Let me know. And on that note, you can catch us every Wednesday wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can watch us on YouTube. You can stream our entire first and second seasons. You can get caught up on our current season, which is season 3. And I went cross-eyed there for a minute. Please leave us a very lovely review on Apple Podcasts. If you are listening to us on Spotify, please rate us. And wherever you listen to us, please share this podcast with people that you love. Even if you don't like them, maybe share it with them anyways. Yes. Maybe that y'all will be friends again because they'll be like, oh my God, I love that podcast. You're amazing.
Yes, exactly. And then you can also find us on Instagram at Glowing Up Latina. Follow us, like our stories, posts, everything. Look out for those questions that we just mentioned for the last episode of the season. Or send us some topics and more questions at glowinguplatina@gmail.com.
And until next week, keep glowing, mija.
Bye.
Liana, come back.
Baby, come back.